Okay, hello there, traders, and welcome to today's Bretton's Wednesday's webinar. My name is Kenny Simon. Today is the 14th of April, 2021. It's already April, and time really flies. So we are in midweek. So this is the midweek Wednesday webinar where we want to shorten the session on going through the market and all that. Want to get into the chart much more and want to go into trade ideas much more. Okay. So before we start, I just want to introduce the Bretton Institute website, as well as the certification body called ATI. ATI stands for the Academy of Traders and Investors in London. So it's the London Academy of Traders and Investors, which basically means that from now on, I will be running certification courses as well in Bretton, which will be accredited and certified internationally by the London Academy of Trading and Investment. So this actually also means that if anyone sits for the certification course offered by myself, they are able to have an internationally recognized certificate, okay, because the skills are recognized as well. The skills training and things that I teach are recognized within the financial trading world, and also by certain bodies. So the London Academy of Trading and Investment is basically affiliated with other big bodies as well. So they are all affiliated, connected to actually offer me the international certification, which also means that if you've got children or young people who would like an additional training or skills, they can actually literally put these certificates of completion into their CVs, and I can actually easily be their referral as well. Okay, so just to make it easier for everyone as well, because we've got a lot of students, financial studies students, international finance, or even anything that's related to the financial world especially, or even business studies. They usually ask for special training or extra skills training, so they can actually show to their current employer as well, because some nowadays all these upgrade of or promotions are actually offered by the amount of investment you yourself have actually put into certain skills, so yeah, it's all good. So with that, I just want to introduce that as well. Okay, so that is that, and also you can catch us on Facebook and YouTube as normal. Okay, so there we go. So now let's get to a little bit on the market, but then we go straight on to heat maps, and just to take a look at what's going on. I think I've refreshed this page on Action Forex right here. Now, we talked about what do you call that, risk on with oil potentially up, copper up, and stuff like that last week, and I mean the weeks before. And then on Monday this week, we had a change of tone. Now, we are still looking at bearishness of both Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. I just want to show you guys straight away on trading opportunities, especially with Australian dollar, GBP, USD. I just didn't get around to producing that specific videos, but I just want to show you exactly these trades opportunity that I will be taking as well from today with regards to some commodity currencies. Commodity currencies are your CAD, Australian dollar, and New Zealand dollar. Okay, these are countries that produce, have got minerals to produce, they've got natural resources and all that. These are called commodity countries that have got the commodity currencies behind them. So it's categorized under commodity currencies. Also, we have the ZAR. So whenever we have got the four connection of commodity currencies, bond, and bond, currencies, commodity, and one more, we have got four stocks. All these four instruments or asset classes, we call it, they all work in tandem to actually move the market. One move another, another move another. Okay, so now we are looking at potential for some commodity currencies. We'll be looking at major currencies, US dollar as well, for sure. USD crosses, but at this moment of time, we can look at major currencies that are pegged with the dollar or connected with the dollar, but commodity ones first, especially from starting today, because we've got expectation of breakout technically as well, and then we've got confirmation of the trend getting stronger, especially with AUD USD. So we'll look into AUD USD, NZD USD, USD CAD, and then GBP USD as well. We'll look into this four as major ones because these are the ones that are showing quite clear trend, picking up and getting stronger since last night and beginning of Tuesday especially. So we want to focus on those ones. Now, if we look at the daily chart itself, you can see that AUD is on the downside. Sorry, it's on the upside because of the lots of selling off. Okay, but we want to confirm that we've got a head and shoulders that are that is confirming a potential downward move, but a breakout hasn't happened. So maybe this is a reversal thing. So when we look at daily, actually it's for 4-hour chart. Okay, so whenever we look at 4-hour, it's actually for daily. If we look at 1 hour, it's actually for 4 hours. So you want to connect that all the time. Okay, and if it's 30 minutes, it's for the 1 hour. It's like that. Okay, so it's always one time frame up for whatever that you are looking at. So if I'm looking at 4-hour, I'm actually looking at daily. Okay, if I'm looking at daily, it's actually for the 4-hour. All right, so here, for example, we are looking at loads of weakness of all these currencies against the AUD, because AUD and NZD has got a very nice strong downtrend in each column. Okay, so all these ones now are weaker than AUD and NZD. So AUD and NZD seem to be on the upside. Okay, so we want to, this is for now. Okay, this is for now, for today. And that's the trend that is going on at this moment of time, according to this heat map. But we want to confirm this heat map with the other heat map as well. So I just want to go straight onto AUD and NZD as well. Now, as you can see, AUD, NZD, we've got majority of it are all bullishness. But when you look at NZD versus another commodity currency seem to be having more dark blues right here. Okay, so I want to also take a look at AUD CAD as well. So we've mentioned about AUD USD, NZD USD, USD CAD, and GBP USD, right? These are the major ones we want to take a look at and start to actually look at entries, exits, stop losses, and all that, trade ideas, as well as trade signals. And then we want to look at AUD CAD as well. But before that, let's check on to the top movers as well, just to get a bit of an idea of the interest by traders and investors onto the market at this moment of time as we speak. So as we can see, there's a lot of focus on NZD pairs. Okay, so we've got more than half, I think it's about half, 50% of this list. That means 5 out of 10, excuse me, involves the NZD. So we've got NZD. So there's a lot of focus on NZD. Okay, so if I go into Google now and I look at New Zealand economy, okay, and then I just onto the news. And just an hour ago, they are talking about New Zealand Central Bank stays on hold to keep economy. So you see, it's to keep economy. So that means it's a bit of a negative connotation as well. So we want to be very careful. Okay, New Zealand Central Bank left all its current policy settings unchanged today on Wednesday. And let's see a little bit. Let's give a bit of a peek, not to read the entire article and all that. We don't want to, lose and miss out time for trading. So then it says here, needed time to observe the impact of new housing market. Okay, so I've got a couple of people I know, they are very, very deep into the into becoming agent, or they are agents of properties in New Zealand, and they are also giving me the heads up on they're selling properties as well. They've got timings as well, so that does actually give me a little bit of an idea of the current expectation of the New Zealand economy. So here it's giving some, no, not very clear, but a leaning towards a bit of positivity, okay, for the New Zealand as a long-term, mid-term and stuff like that. So, okay, let's now go on to the heat map here on early Forex early warning as well. Okay. For that, just very quickly, the preference, let's say on 4 hour, if it's 4 hour, we're talking about the 1 hour, that means the shortest term. We can see that it's a little bit different, the focus, right? But if you go on to slightly longer term with more data, you're looking at the focus of investors, traders are more into NZD pairs, shorter term AUD pairs, okay? But on longer term and more data, stronger trend, it's actually on NZD. The top three itself is NZD versus the USD, the CAD, and the Euro. So I want to also look at NZD versus Euro, USD, and also CAD. Okay, there you go. That one there, and that's it. Okay, so this is just an idea. And another one, is to look at your action bias right here, just to get extra information, but not too much information. There you go. Right. As you can see, you've got straight rows here, straight rows, especially for Euro, up to the daily chart, from short term to the daily chart, roughly, mid-term actually, because daily is your 4 hour roughly. So you've got Euro, all the Euros are on the upside at this moment of time. So I just want to look at that as well, and then take you through to the economic calendar just to confirm a little bit on which pair or which currencies would experience more volatility today. So Euro, you've got up and up and up to the daily chart. You've got another Euro versus the CAD as well. So you can see that the currencies are leaning towards pairs like CAD, USD, AUD, NZD. So we want that to be a bit of a center of focus, because it is the center of focus for today by the other traders and investors as well. Okay, so we can see that indication. Okay, good. So we've got Euro USD, Euro CAD as well, all on the upside on Euro. Now let's look at this one in terms of not only a heat map for the trend in terms of bullish or bearishness, but also the participation, okay, of the traders. That's very important, because if you have only the trend and then no participation, then the market is moving, is going to be moving very, very slow. So we've got European session right here. It's going to be open in London as well soon. So we're looking at USD pairs. It is sort of confirmed with the other heat map as well, that it is experiencing the downside at the moment. Maybe correction, maybe something else, we don't know, right? But then as of today, it's on the downside for USD, because you see all the other ones are actually picking up in its trend on the upside. USD JPY here, as you can see, minus 10% right there, the drop there, and it's bearish. So it's bearish overall at this moment of time for USD. Participation wise, not too bad. I wouldn't go for CHF here. It's very unpredictable because you've got very low bars as well. So no participation on the CHF pairs. And you can see that in the top 10 as well, no participation there. So you want to avoid CHF pairs. This one here as well, the same. Euro, not too good as well in terms of participation overall, but then we've got some pairs like the Euro AUD, for example. Euro NZD, again, is Euro NZD. So it's not so much Euro CAD, but it's Euro NZD, but that's on the downside as well. So, okay, we can actually take a look at that. But I'm particularly interested to know with the Australian dollar right here, and also the New Zealand dollar. As you can see, New Zealand dollar participation is quite high, except for the versus JPY and versus the GBP, but that is also because it hasn't really kicked in yet, the market for GBP. NZD, maybe, you know, they just don't see it as a good hedging, what do you call that, trading at the moment, because it's on the downside here, right? Because NZD JPY or AUD JPY, usually it's a carry trading type pair. So that means only if AUD or JPY is on the upside, totally very clear uptrend, then you will see a lot of heavy buying. Then you will see the NZD JPY as well on the buy, but not for today. So we've got a lot of participation on both. We've got CAD, not too bad. But we've got higher bars on the Asian side for NZD, and then it's following through to Euro, but not too long. But I think it's picking up as well. It looks like it's picking up. So we know to avoid the USD for now first, okay, because it's not showing participation yet. Because what will happen is that if you go into Usdcad or USD-CHF, even though you see a nice trend and then you want to do a pending order, because of lack of participation, you'll get frustrated waiting for too long, and then you will wonder why it's not really breaking out that fast. This is the reason, when there's no participation as well. Okay, all right, good. So let's now go into a little bit of this one here. I like this sentiment analysis by Daily Effects in a way. They have improved their algorithm on that, so it's quite nice. This is called a sentiment analysis, which basically means they've got a contrarian approach, which actually means you do the total opposite. You look at the trend as total opposite of what they are doing. This is a contrarian approach. This is how sentiment analysis usually work. So if you are looking at, let's say, a high figure here, right? Okay, let's say this one here. 61% is on the net short, which basically means they're selling 61%. So that actually means that it's probably better for a buy type order, or maybe it's better to look into the uptrend, not the downtrend, because net long majority have already sort of exhausted selling it. So it's better to look at a new approach of buying it, and then we look at technical side of it, whether or not we can buy. So that's basically what we can actually do. So let's use this sentiment analysis to give us a bit of a guidance on AUD USD. For example, you can see majority on the net short, so we want to look at possibility. Usually these 50-50 type sentiments, a little bit tricky. We want it to be on one side much more. Like, for example, USD US 500, right? 70% on the short. So we can then expect it to actually rise, you see, because the net bulls are only 30%, right? But the net selling is 70%. The same for, let's see, I was looking at silver. Look at silver. Silver net buy 93%, okay, net bullish, net buy here. So that actually means it's really close to falling and giving you a very big opportunity on the selling side for silver. The same goes for gold. So gold on the downside, I would expect it as well on the sentiment side of it. So let's dive deep into it, because we were just looking at last gold. I just want to have a bit of a peek at gold. So gold itself, I mean, from looking at it from a technical perspective, it is favoring the downside as well for the short to the medium term. Okay, so this is sort of matching with the sentiments analysis. So it's quite dangerous to actually think that you can actually buy gold when the sentiments analysis is net long, already net long gold. So that means it is time for potential reversal. So we want to look at reversal as well. So we want to look at reversal, then plan for the trade. Okay. All right. So let's get going. Let's get into. I just want to share a little bit on GBP CHF first, because I'm still riding along GBP CHF. So GBP CHF is making the up and down stuff like that, but overall, as I have drawn the shark pattern right here, I'm expecting the fall from there basically right down to this end. So now it's doing that zigzagging to come downward. So I want to look at, correction and then coming down, but then overall it's the downward move. But as it comes down, or as it goes up and then reverses to come down onwards, if it does actually break out from the 2650 onwards, then you can actually plan a pending order of 2640. Okay, now it's at 2680 Exactly. That's why it is, at the level of, at the psychological level. So your pending order for GBP CHF can continue again as a new pending order for a sell at 2640 onwards. But then we want to be very careful and then make only about 30 pips at 2610 and then trade again later on and trade it in small chunks, okay, 20-30 pips. And then you can actually then look into your area here at 2570 area, because this area here has got a very significant support here. Basically it's at 2580 psychological level here. So anytime it goes under the 2570, 2580 and under, you've got a very nice purple. I line this up as purple for a nice fall of over 100 pips, about 150 to 160 pips down, and that would be a very nice one to take. But when would that actually happen? We don't know just yet. We only know for now it's going to make that zigzag up and down, but then we've got about 20-30 pips pending order to make as well, perhaps this week, potentially for GBP CHF. Okay, so that is for GBP CHF. Let's take a look at AUD USD and all the other pairs, the other USD crosses or major pairs first. Okay, so now with AUD USD, what the majority of the market is talking about is actually the break here at this level at 75 50 area or so, but now we are quite far away from that. Okay, so if it does break that area, come down and break that, then it would confirm this head and shoulders pattern. So we have a head and shoulders pattern basically. Let's say you start from here, go up here. I want to make that in yellow so it's more prominent. Give me a second. There you go. All right. Okay, so that is your first shoulder right here. Okay, this is your first shoulder here. Then your head is right to the very top, the highest point, highest peak, basically. Okay, then you want to actually, you see, if it goes here, and you can take that as a shoulder as well. But then what could also happen is for this to become a shoulder and go up even around here. Okay, but we don't know how far that would potentially go up to, so we will just take the original pattern as this. Okay, this is your second right shoulder. This is your right shoulder. That's your left shoulder right there. Okay, so this head and shoulder pattern usually expects it to break through the neck area here and come downwards. Okay, so for us as geometric pattern traders, we can actually spot a geometric bearish pattern inside here. Okay, so that's your A to B all the way down here. So there is a likelihood to aim on this area first before, aiming further down. Okay, because we will have loads of ABCD coming up. So here could also be a new A and then B down here. And if this happens here, go up and reverse somewhere, it becomes a C point. So you can then confirm that pattern as well. But this is roughly how AUD USD is talked about now for having a head and shoulder pattern. So whatever you're looking at right now in terms of upward movement and all that could actually be a sideways type movement, and it is still, at this moment of time on the daily chart, AUD USD looks like it is flirting with the 50 EMA right there. So usually any one of the EMA, whether it's 50, 100 or 200, becomes either a support or resistance. In this case, coming up could potentially become a resistance. But let's look at the price. The price that it is at is very close to 7680 psychological level. Okay, so I want to mark the psychological level with a yellow line right here, yellow horizontal line, and 7780. Okay, so we want to look up to that area. Oh no, sorry, it's 7680, not 77. 7680. Oh, right, as you can see, it's really closed. Okay, so it might find a reason to reverse either at the 50 EMA there, close between the 50 EMA to the 7680 area. So we want to watch that area quite well for a reversal. Now let's see whether or not if we apply the stochastic, okay, whether or not there's divergence in the stochastic area. Okay, so here it's quite a clear divergence actually in a way. Why? Because you see this peak and this peak, it's almost at the same level. Okay, this peak, same level. That means it's flat. Okay, but then this peak and the current price is at a downslope. So this does actually show me a little bit that there is a potential reversal to look out for. Okay, and also it's got many other reasons. It's very close to the 50 EMA. It's really close to the psychological level of 7680. So I'm expecting for it to reverse and come downwards. So we've also got this bullish candle here and here as well. Okay, so this is on the daily chart. So we're technically looking at the 4-hour in a way. Okay, still short to medium term actually. So if that does actually happen, then that will drive through some nice pattern as well. That means if we expect reversal there, let me just zoom out a little bit, look at the yellow line. We've got it clearly now, AUD USD drawn as your head and shoulder pattern right there. And then we want to just go around this area here. So I can't go further. So we have only this area as your referral point right here. So as you can see, we are also at a major resistant area right there. Okay, so that resistant area basically started opening price at 76.64 and under. So when we look at the retreat of price coming down later on, and goes to the 76.70 area, then you know that you've got more bears going in. So then you can actually do your pending order again at 76.70 to actually sell. Okay, so 76.70, you want to make some pips. Then you look into 76.10, or just take about 20 pips or so, 20-30 pips short term. But once it's actually broken out from the 75.80 area, like 75.70, and then it comes lower than this area right here, because this is the area of its neck, you see. So if I want to draw the neck area, I will take it from here. It's probably better just to cut through. Oops. Cut through all the way, because I want all this base area to be touched, you see. So there you go. Because you see a lot of wicks, a lot of supports and stuff like that. And then we take this one up as well, so that you've got here support, you've got another one there, touch points. Move this one a little bit lower. There, you've got several touch points there. So that's another indication of it. If it breaks that yellow line, that slopey yellow line, and then comes down and then breaks all these levels here, especially 75.80, and then come lower, then you can actually make more pips than 20-30 pips. But at the moment, for it to actually reverse, you make 20-30 pips. But then here, when it comes down here, then you can make much more, 50, 60, 70, because once it breaks. But what would happen is that it might make a bit of a reversal upon breakout as well. Okay, but in my opinion, it did already broke away a little bit from this area, especially if I draw the neckline from the top. It's already made that return to that level and come back down. So now it's making that upward type movement again for AUD USD. So you know that you have short-term selling, but wait until it reverses first. Now it's exactly on 76.80 psychological level. Then here, it returns, then you make that little bit of selling pips, okay? But 76.70 onwards, okay? then you make that, and then you can aim that at 76.30. So 70.30, 40 pips, about 40 pips. So you can make your 20-30 pips as you want. And then, but you've got about 40 pips there to make once it reverses there. And then you have to monitor again, because it wants to make that sideways type movement until things are clearer. That's for AUD USD. Now we go on to NZD USD. With NZD USD, as you can see, it mirrors what happens to AUD USD. It's got a bit of a mirror going, okay, mirrored moves. So here, as you can see, it's 70.97. Again, it is very close to a psychological level, which is 7100. So I put this at 7100, okay. Right? So you see, it's so close, and it's exactly the same as what we see on AUD USD. So it is similar. So if you want to take your NZD type trade, you would also take it on a sell, but under your 7100, so 7090 onwards. So 7090, you take profit at 7030. So that's about 60, no, sorry. 7090, 7060, you have take profit. So it's about 30 pips or so. That's on the sell side. So it's similar type style of trading, the AUD USD and NZD USD, because you see it's mirroring the same, and it's also on the same time frame at the daily chart. It's also finding resistance at the 50 EMA as well, and it's very close to 7100. You've also got support level that could potentially become resistance here. So that is another reason to look at it. You've got resistance here, became support, and these two support, or even almost this one here, or these two significant support, are going to potentially become resistant for the current price of NZD USD at this moment of time. So the same thing, you've got potential here for the sell as well. You can do your pending order, but then try to wait until it reverses first, because we never know what could actually potentially happen. Because if it does break out from here, and then we've got positive news of NZD related news to even Australian news that is positive, then New Zealand might actually follow, and it might actually follow the length of this candle here. That is the most obvious one that we can see, another candle there, and then we can see the limit of price as well. Now, this is interesting. If, for example, there's a positive news for NZD, pushes price up and gone beyond the 7100 psychological number, gone beyond breakout from the 50 EMA as well, it might mirror this bullish candle here. And the reason why I like to see this bullish candle here as well is because it mirrors the fall very close to this fall here. Okay, so price could potentially just come back down again, trick the market a little bit on a nice upward type movement, because it's looking strong as well. But then if this were to happen, then that could potentially happen in the Australian dollar versus USD as well. So then you've got a little bit of 30 pips or so to make on the upside if you want the short-term one. Okay, 71.10 to buy, and then 71.40 to take profit. So you've got about 30 pips there. That's on the buy side. Then when it comes downwards breakout, then you make that as well, 30 pips down as well in this area. Then as it comes down lower to confirm the downward type movement or trend, then you start riding the downtrend. Okay, so at this moment of time, it depends on what happens. It might actually encourage us to trade shorter term anti-trend type 20-30 pips or so there, if you want to take that. But that is what I see could potentially happen. If it breaks out to the upside and gone above the 50 EMA, then it might mirror that one there, then mirror the fall of a very nice bearish candle right there. So when it goes up, then you want to sell at a higher price, right? So then this could actually mirror that nice fall of this bearish mother candle right here as well for NZD USD, and that is 150 plus pips downwards. But then if we look at now going upwards, right, the price, let's look at whether or not we're expecting a reversal as well for NZD USD. Okay. So here, definitely another divergent So here is this peak right here is an upward slope towards the current price. But this one here, this peak right here is a downward slope to the current price. So yes, we are expecting, technically we're expecting a reversal, okay? But just in case, if something just suddenly happens with Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, and then it pushes price up instead of a technical reversal, then we know what we can also do here by a little bit, and then there may be a potential reversal a bit later there. So, but for now, it looks like it could potentially reverse, but we just need to wait a little bit for the reversal to occur so that we can, if a reversal occurs, you can sell at 7090 instead. Okay, you sell at 7090 and then you follow and use this mother candle as a referral point. So your exit should actually be here at 7003 or 7010. So 7010, 7090 roughly to 7010 roughly. Okay, that's about 80 pips. Okay, slightly more than 80 pips. So that's quite a good one. So if you are taking it in stages, 20 pips first or 30 pips first, and then you take the next 30 pips later on, depending on how comfortable you are with your stop losses as well, then you can actually make it that way. Okay, but we've got a bit of volume. We've got some volume or strength of trend at the moment. I think let's check with your average directional movement index. This is on a daily chart. It's a bit on the weak side, but it's actually moving up towards the 25 level. Okay, so there may be some pickup, but it's already high on the 4-hour chart, which basically means for the 1 hour. So you can see it's has got no wick at the top on the 4-hour chart. That means you've got room for it to actually move. No wick at all on the 1-hour chart. So between 1 hour and 4 hours, short term for now, there is potential for it to move. And you've got the ADX above 25 on the 4-hour chart, and you've got the ADX above very high on the 25. So yes, you've got a bit of short term, you've got a bit of a buy movement first at the moment, and then it will reverse. Okay, so this is what's happening to NZD USD. So I think it's the same as well for AUD USD. So be careful, okay, with this one. But we've got some trade. So AD USD, NZD USD. Now let's take a look at GBP USD. Okay, so we'll look into GBP USD. I've drawn a trend line as such, and it is still showing me downward type movement. Now, I want to give you a little bit of a pointer for GBP. Now, GBP in sentiments wise, in terms of fundamental and all that, it is positive. Okay, it's positive at this moment of time, meaning that they've got the vaccines released for 50-plus-year-old. Everything is in schedule, a little bit earlier than scheduled. So they are very positive with that. The whole COVID situation is quite well controlled. Things are picking up. They've just opened the bars and places as well outdoors as of Monday. So people are lifting up, people's spirit are lifted up a little bit. So this is the general public. This is the general sentiments are a bit more positive. Okay, but this could actually be sort of like a short-term reaction for what has actually happened for this week. But then when we look at it technically, even the money flow and stuff like that, we're seeing potential downward movement again for GBP USD. Okay, so we can see all these higher highs, lower highs and all that. And this is a monthly chart. So monthly chart itself, I want to work my way through from monthly up to weekly, weekly to daily, daily to 4-hour and so on. So here you can see that it's stuck there at the 100 EMA. Now it's creating that nice flow on a long term on the downside. Okay, you've got the 3 EMAs very clear. You've got a lot of lower highs and lower lows as well. And now it's trading at 3790. So you know that the 38, let's get rid of this one here. You know that the 3800 is very close as a psychological level. Okay, so I just want to put that one here. 3800. Okay. That's your psychological level to look out for, very close to the current price. Now, we also want to mark some resistant area as well. Now, we've got some support here that mirrors very nicely with all these resistant areas. Okay, so I just want that area right there. Okay, maybe go a bit lower. Make another line right here. So we've got some barriers at the moment, okay, these three lines, but this is on the monthly chart. Then we go into the weekly chart, and then we see again on a big picture what's going on. So as you can see, it's already hinted at the weekly chart, which is the daily chart in a way, okay, that it is difficult for GBP USD to go up. It's already signaled a pin bar right here, and with a quite long wick here signaling exhaustion to the upside. Hence the reason it's already moving down. But then we've got some upward type corrective movement at this moment with a single candle, current candle. So we move on to the daily chart, which is technically the 4-hour in a way. So it's making all this zigzag, okay, of price coming down, going up, coming down, going up, but overall it's a downtrend because you got this channel now at this moment. It's like a step, but the step is a going down type step with lower highs and lower lows. But at this moment of time, it needs to challenge this area here because it came down here, went up, came down, but this downward type movement didn't go lower than this. So there were no lower low. So that no lower low, but there is a double bottom. This double bottom usually signals upward type movement. Okay, so we want to watch out for this. So this is the reason why it's a little bit unpredictable as well, because we want the price to go above 3800 so that it gives us a little bit of an idea of whether or not it's clear on the uptrend for GBP USD for now. Once it goes above 3800 and once it goes above 3800, it'll go above all the three lines as well. But this is on the daily chart. So but most recent movement in terms of mother candle, bullish mother candle, I don't see any that starts off from this yellow line. I see it starting off a little bit higher, okay, on mother candle. Like this long one starts very high up, okay, because this is what's obvious to the eye that we can see. But if we go further, zoom out a little bit, okay, just looking at this area as the referral point, from this price at close to 3800, I still don't see any bullish mother candle pushing price very strongly up. So that does tell me that maybe it is not the interest of buyers to go above 3800 for now. Maybe there may be a reversal. So here we want to be really careful as well, okay, because it will trick traders as well with a single bullish candle like this one, but suddenly a nice wick will appear. Maybe we don't know, okay, because it may find resistance at 3800 psychological level and also the 50 EMA. Okay, so what do we actually do is not to do anything just yet, but we see here on the 4-hour, it's quite clear. It might find resistance at the 200 EMA even. So here we have got price here, and we can see that it may actually mirror on the 4-hour this bullish candle, this candle here, or even this candle here. So this bullish candle would probably end here, okay, and that bullish mother candle ends there, okay. So we need to see whether or not it wants to respect this 3800 and then come back down, or it goes above 3800. But if it does go above 3800, I think it wouldn't actually last very long on the uptrend. So in my opinion, I think GBP USD has got a lot more room or bias to the downside, not upside. The upside appears to be very challenging because you see it's got to find this as resistance 3800, resistant here again, resistant here again, and even if it goes a little bit higher, you've got a very big resistance here. as well, where there was a nice sell-off of a single bearish candle. So too much resistance, in my opinion, on the upside. So it's not going to offer you even short, small pips to the upside. So maybe it will show you better pips, even those small 20, 30 pips or so in most stages to the downside. Once it reverses, I think it's got more room to give you downward type pressure as opposed to upward type. And we're just talking about for now, okay? Because we are seeing it a lot on resistance at the moment with candles as well and various others. You've got the peak right here as well, and they're all in within this blue area. That's for GBP USD. So my thought about it is more to the downside. I would probably wait until it reverses to give me more selling opportunities as opposed to the buying opportunity, because I think it's exhausting already these positive sentiments and all that kind of thing. Okay. All right. That's for GBP USD. Let's look into USD CAD as well. Okay. The majors first. Okay. Oh, sorry, not that one. Okay, there we go. Now, very clearly, daily chart shows downward type bias movement for USD CAD. So USD appears weak on the against the CAD. So commodity currencies is on the rise at the moment. So we want to be careful with trading the USD versus commodity currencies as well, okay, including the AUD, the NZD. But let's take a look at the chart as well. Now, daily chart here, if I go into the monthly straight away, okay, not very clear. Let's see. Weekly, all this entanglement of the lines, it's not that clearer on the daily chart. Do we see clarity at 4-hour chart as well for USD CAD? The answer is no. It's quite unpredictable. Okay, it's moving, the lines are moving on the sideways, and then we have got downward movement picking up a little bit. It's very confusing at the moment. It's got sideways in general for the USD CAD. The way I look at it is it's got more bias to the downside potentially, but we don't know how much yet, because you see this movement of price has actually created a kind of a curve, okay? And that curve, if it's mirror here as well and drop like a curve, then it may create an upside down pattern, upside down cup and handle pattern. And that pattern would then, look into more selling pressure. But at the moment, it's not something to expect yet because it's still unclear. Okay. We've also got a kind of a V shape here, here in between here. Okay, like these two peaks area making a kind of V, but the V is not very clear as well. So it's not it's not a pair that I see a lot of clarity. So I'm not really that interested in the USD CAD, but I'm interested in knowing the progress. But here itself, if you look at the 4-hour chart and here itself, the wick is really long. So it's signaling weakness to the upside, okay, because the wick is pointing to the upside. And then from that wick that points up, suddenly we had loads of sellers coming in. So in my guess, it looks like more sellers will keep coming in, and that has already been blocked to the upside. So USD CAD, we're expecting much more weakness, in my opinion. So now we have got all these, the selling is taking place now with current price at 2543. But then if it goes a little bit lower at 2540 and under, I think it might actually mirror this candle right here, the opening price of a single bearish candle that's worth about 60 plus pips, almost 70 pips. Okay, so there is room right there. So maybe 2510 onwards you want to sell, or you want to sell at 2540 onwards. It's entirely up to yourself, but again, it is something to just right along with small amount of pips, like 20-30 pips, okay, because that's the risk that you are willing to take. Maybe double that, 40, 50, 60 pips is your risk, okay. So if you're trading $1 per pip, then you're looking into risking only about $50 to $60 for this trade. If at all prices continues to fall, and then you want to take the sell at 2,540, and then you want to leave it and look at take profit above the closing price of the single bearish mother candle there. So you want to maybe 2,490. Okay, so 2,490 is up there. Okay, just to be on the safe side here. So here, right up there, you've got about 40 plus, almost 50 pips there. But that is just meantime if you want to actually still trade on a quite risky type trend, not much clarity, then you want to take it small, not big chunks. Okay, so USD CAD, we've taken a look at NZD USD already. I want to look into Euro. Let's look into Euro USD as the most traded pair. This is Euro JPY, Euro USD. Let's look at, oops. Once we look at Euro USD, we can look at Euro GBP as well. Okay, we've got upward type trend to be quite strong on the daily chart for Euro USD. And we want to go on to, let's say, the 1 hour chart. 1 hour chart, very nice. Okay, this is an exemplary type trend that you want to look at for uptrend. But of course, this can be steeper as well, this 3 lines. But then overall, it's moving really high above the 3 lines, and then you got your ADX really strong as well. So this is a good uptrend, but we need to not only base on one time frame, so you want to compare and match that up with the 4 hour. At the 4 hour, it's telling you that it might actually exhaust a little bit USD buying, okay. And now it's trading at 1964, 1.1964. So above that, of course, we've got the psychological level of 1980 to look at, okay. So 1980, we'll just put that 1980 first, and then we look to the left, okay. This is on the 4 hour chart. So here, as you can see, 1980 mirrors directly to these 2 big resistance, significant resistance, especially this one here. This level here that started at 1980, let's say, has dropped about 270 plus pips. So this is a significant fall, okay, a significant one to look at, and most likely high probability for it to start reversing at the 1980 area or even now, okay, and that might then mirror some very bearish candle like this one here, okay. This one here is a nice mirror because you've got a support right there, so it might go down from there to there on the sell. Now, do we see the divergence as well of this uptrend with the stochastics? Let's see. We'll check that. Indicators, go on stochastic. Okay, take that. All right. So now on the right, we can see that do we have a little bit of divergence on the 4 hour? Let's say this peak here is that peak. It's up and this is up. For now, based on this one here, it's got no divergence at this moment on the 4 hours. So what does this mean? This means that there is a potential of it, you know, breaking upwards, okay, breaking up above the 1980. So more upward type movement. So if you are taking the movement to the upside, uptrend for Euro USD, then you want to look at buying at 1990 or 2010. Okay, so here I'll just put it as 1990, but I'm going to put it as your blue, or blue line. That means bullish or support. So your 1990, that's for the upward type movement, if at all things are going to become positive and all that for the US dollar. Now here, if it does actually break out, there is a bullish mother candle here and also here. Now both of them are quite close in where it both ended, not very close, but let's take the shorter one. So you have got a bit of a limit right there, 2040, I would think. Okay, so take that for the upward type movement. Okay, the limit 2040 in terms of price action. Okay, I will zoom it in a bit. So that is for the scenario of upward type movement. Okay, because it's gone above all the three lines in a way as well, and then you've got the opening price right there. There's no divergence. You've got upward type movement signaled by ADX to be strong as well, so we want to watch out for this one. Maybe there is a potential for it to break out and go up. So you can see the ADX is really strong on the upside for Euro USD. So my suspicion is it might, if you've got relevant and strong fundamentals, it might actually fuel the upside and cause the Euro USD to break out from 1980, go pierce through, and then it might trigger your potential buy price of 1990, taking your take profit at 2040. So you have got that area right there. Okay, down here. Okay, that's about almost 50 pips, but you don't need to take all 50 pips unless you are sure of the trend picking up really well, because this area right here, you know, as it goes up, you have got some bullish candle there as well, you see. So maybe you want to take earlier, you'll take profit under 2040, at least 2035 maybe, just in case it reverses, mirroring that closing price of that mother candle right there, because this area here is also a strong support. So support becomes resistance, becomes support, so you want to be careful. So that's your Euro USD. Okay, so Euro USD, that's how you play the game. If it goes above, then you want to go into a little bit of a buy, 20-30 pips, but starting from 1990. But we want to monitor that and see whether or not it starts to reverse at 1980, which is here. Okay, but no divergence. So let's see whether or not the stochastic is giving us good, accurate info as well. It doesn't happen all the time, accuracy wise, because it's a lagging indicator, like all other indicators mainly. So there you go. Okay, guys, any questions so far? So we've covered those ones. Let's cover very quickly on well, oil is still on its way upwards. It's gone beyond this point already. So you have to cancel this pattern here because it has already destroyed this pattern actually. Okay, so it is on the upside, but we have got resistance for oil. This is US oil. Okay, so resistance at $61.47 right up to the $61.73. Okay, so it's really close anyway for that resistant area, but that's the most obvious resistant area that we can see, which also mirrors that area right there. That's for oil. We've seen Euro USD, yes, and Nzusd USD as well. Let's go to Euro GBP very quickly. Okay, so Euro GBP 1 hour chart, you know, it's on the upside, a little bit weak as well, the way the three lines are moving to the upside. And that's the reason as well, because it's not clear on the trend for Euro GBP in particular. And you've got all this area, you know, it's not a pair that I would actually look at for Euro GBP on any opportunities, because it's just a little bit too unpredictable, too unclear at the moment, especially with the trend and technically as well from price movements, price action as well. Okay, it is very close to the 86-80 psychological level, but it's already made that decision in a way to reverse. So it's got the wicks up and stuff like that. So you've got it more biased to the downside for the euro versus the GBP. So which also means that GBP may be picking up for this very short period of time. Okay, like what we have seen for the GBP USD just now. Okay. All right, guys. Now the last one I think we'll look at gold, and again, you know, with the movements of USD pairs on the downside, and things are a little bit on the downside. Maybe it's a corrective move or not, we don't know. So it might actually give rise to gold for now, but short period of time. We've got a reversal coming as well. Not a reversal, but a potential resistance, very strong resistance at the 1753. We are at 1748 at the moment, roughly 78.48, and 1753 is an area of this resistance right here, which basically taken price quite far down as well. So it's quite a significant resistance. Now, and then the most recent resistance right here as well has actually mirrored this area. Even though we put it at the highest body right there, you see it mirrors all this area as well. So anywhere between 1753 to 1756 or 1757 is a very significant resistance area that you need to watch out for gold. And we are not very far from that. So we have got some very small buying that could take place now. If you are doing that, then make sure you exit just before 1753, okay? And then your next buying should only be looked at if at all it goes above 1756. But in my guess, I think it's looking like it may want to mirror all this resistance level. So it might go up there and then create a fall again, and then for now, it would actually just support the USD's buying, support the USD selling, and then that would probably be the short term, and then USD might pick up again, and then you will see it creating resistance right here, and then more room to the downside. So we don't know that yet until it does what it needs to do around this area right here. Okay, so if it does actually go up and beyond here, I still see it a bit of a limit here following that mother candle right there. This is the as far as the eyes could see on the screen, and the most recent one there. So not really very confident of upward type movement, maybe just for very short period, short time frame, but then not for a longer term strong uptrend kind of thing for gold at all at this moment of time. Okay, all right, guys, that's it I have for you guys. But any questions at all before we end the session for today? Any questions? Okay, no questions so far, right? Okay, good. Okay, good. All right, guys, if no questions, let's end the session for today. And I want to wish you guys happy pipping, and thank you for joining my webinar, and see you on Friday on the Friday's market wrap up. Okay, take care. Thank you, Alfred. Okay, bye-bye.